Hey everyone, it's Ryan Henry, idea guy and co-founder of INSPIREsmall.biz, and welcome back to another episode of the Bright Ideas Podcast, where each episode we introduce an entrepreneur to you, learn their story, and how they help their customers. And today my guest is someone that we've been connected on Facebook for a while, but our first time meeting in person, Cathi Shank, owner of Speedy Scoop, right?
Yes, thank you. Hello, everybody.
Well, thank you for coming down today. I know business is busy, and so thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
So, Cathi, let's start at the beginning here. So, early on in your career, what skills and what things did you do previously before you started your business?
So I went to school to be a massage therapist. I went to school after high school to do licensed massage therapy. I did that for a couple years. I had my own practice in a gym, in a spa. Then I decided to go into nursing, so I stopped that practice, went into nursing school. I did that for 5 years. After nursing school, I just had my kids, and I was able to be a stay-at-home mom. So I was able to stay at home for about 7 years with my family, and my oldest son, I have 3 boys, and my oldest son was playing in his room during COVID. He saw a service our neighbors were having, and I had never even heard of the service at all, and I looked it up, and he's like, what is that? And I said, it looks like a pet waste removal company. So I looked it up, and he's like, well, I could do that. I said, you sure can. And he was 7 at the time. So during COVID, he's just playing, and he wanted to save money for Legos. So all we did was say, okay, let's take you, we were homeschooling him at the time. Let's take you out for a couple hours in our neighborhood only. I would drive him or walk him down to some neighbors, and he would scoop, and he would have a good time doing it. And the word just got out. And so neighbors just shared it with other friends in other neighborhoods. So then I'm physically driving him to all these places now. And so this side gig turned into a little bit more than a side gig. So after 3 months, he had a good solid group of 25 clients.
Oh, wow. That was quick.
That was very quick. So he was actually doing it. We have pictures on our Facebook business page too of his early beginnings, of him scooping the yards. And he truly scooped the yards. He talked to the customers. He got to experience the communication, the organization, and having that experience with those families. And they just enjoyed him coming over and doing it. So what we did was we did that homeschooling him, and then in the afternoon we might be going out for 1 or 2 hours. He was never alone, never dropped off, and so all we did was we went together, and I was just supporting him like any parent would do. So 3 months go by, and what happened was the state of Indiana called our house and said, hey, you need to stop this service. You need to completely shut down. And being a mama bear, I was like not having it. I was like, well,
Wait, whoa, what happened?
What happened? And so she said there was an anonymous caller. It could have been another competitor. It could have been, a cranky neighbor. I don't know. But we were never doing anything illegal. And they said, well, because he was 7 years old, he can't be seen on the property. I said, I understand that. I said, one, we're not dropping him off. What do you do with the kids who are raking leaves, shoveling snow, mowing lawns, and they're younger than 14. So they never had a good answer for me. So that's kind of my huge why of why we have continued this business 6 years later. Once we did have that phone call and they said, you have to shut it down, I said, my loophole was, okay, we could take his name, his image, any kind of silhouette we used for marketing off. Mm-hmm. My husband and I would step in, and I said, would that be legal? Would that be okay? And they said, sure, no problem. So literally within 12 hours, we had to scrap everything. And we just sent emails to all of our clients, letting them know nothing was a scam. We were not trying to like bait and switch type of thing. And this really did happen. We had screenshotted the email that we also got from them just to show proof, like this really is happening.
Right, this is a real business. This is a real service.
This is a real business, but that we were being told to shut down. So I told them, I understand you are hiring a 7-year-old to come and clean and you are supporting him. However, if you do want to continue service, my husband and I would be the ones coming to your property, helping. And they said, absolutely not. Like, this is crazy. Like, that should not have happened. Mm-hmm. So they really rallied around us and said, we want you to still come. I was really not expecting that whatsoever. So that 25 people, they all shared with one person. We got 50 people overnight.
Nice.
I was not prepared. So like the side gig quickly turned into a part-time job, quickly turned into a full-time job. And I'm homeschooling my 3 kids. I was a stay-at-home mom. So literally overnight, everything shifted. And my big why is just to keep it going for my kids, for my family. And what I've learned is there have been so many people we have blessed, so many people that we have served in the community that are blind, that are disabled, that are pregnant, that truly need the service, and they're working multiple jobs maybe, and they truly don't have the time, but they love their pets. So to enjoy their pets and not have to worry about something else, and if we're able to take that chore off their to-do list, we're so happy to do it, and we're proud to serve Central Indiana. So it's been a wild ride, but we've loved it.
So a couple of things that stood out in that story to me that I think people should, understand that these are big points in here. One was recognizing an opportunity. So your son looking out the window, seeing another pet waste removal service, but a point that you made, while the state of Indiana was upset about it, it really is no different than raking leaves, cutting grass, shoveling snow, normal things that children do to make some money as they're growing up.
Absolutely.
But then on top of it, then the state gets involved, and you're like, absolutely not. You're not going to just cease operations because people found value in it. But and then next, that a side hustle or a good idea turned into a business pretty quickly by providing a value that people wanted. Removing pet waste is not a glorious job. It's something that every pet owner should be aware of because you want to keep your yard nice, right? Mm-hmm. So as business turned into a full-time thing, where was your next pivot? So you got to where you had 50 people that are like, absolutely, this is something I need for my home. Mm-hmm. It helps my yard. It helps my family. It provides value to us. What was your next step?
Yeah, so we were, bare bones. We had a car with a magnet on there, and I have no business background. My husband has the business background, so he really was the nuts and bolts of it. Cross the T's, dot the I's, make everything legal, and make everything correct to pass as a legal business and operate. And so he was the one really doing all the back end stuff, and I was the forward-facing, talking to other people, having those relationships, and just collecting information from different podcasts and YouTube channels that have really honed in on the home service-based businesses, and just learning along the way, and like learning about branding and marketing and truck wraps and doing just all those different things that you don't think about as a business. Like, we wanted to come across as professional, as a value add. We're not just going to be a chuck in the truck with no kind of signage, no uniforms. We did that in the beginning because we didn't know what we were doing, and it was just for my son. Truly, it was just a side gig, so we wouldn't show up in like a branded vehicle in uniform. But as I was learning all these things, that was the next thing: how to make us stand out that is a professional looking business, that we do take this seriously, and you want someone who's background checked, and that's what we do with all of our technicians now. So from a small car with a magnet on it, and we were actually double bagging the waste and leaving it in people's trash cans. And so we didn't even have a place to haul it away. They truly just were so supportive. And so through all of that and growing the business more, we were able to kind of give them back an extra value. And we did eventually find a dumpster to haul away the waste and to really elevate their experience with us. And so we were able to save enough money to get our first truck, to actually get it wrapped, to buy uniforms, to hire our first technician, to get them background checked. So it really did snowball into something very beautiful. And we are so honored to just continue to serve all of our clients this way. And we've never increased their prices. We just wanted to give back and say, hey, because you were able to support us early on with a solid income, we were able to kind of give back, but none of that was going to be increased on their end. Just because we had these extra expenses, we saved that money to give them a better experience. So we never wanted to make it like a burden or they couldn't afford it. So we just wanted to give back to them.
Nice. So how did the name Speedy Scoop come to be? Was that something that you and your son thought about initially, or did it come later? Where did the name come from?
So honestly, he was running out the door to play, and he was thinking about this stuff, and I never even thought about it because I'm like, we need to come up with a name. And through a couple of days later, he's running out the door, and he's like, what about Speedy Scoop? And I've not thought about it once. It was really all him doing this from the beginning. And I was like, I love that name.
Yeah.
That's spectacular. I was like, yeah, let's run with it. And so that's kind of how it came to be. I didn't know he was kind of festering over this and kind of working it in his head what he wanted it to be. I had not even talked to him about it that day, and he literally was like, what about this name? Because I was throwing out names like Tidy Turf and Clean Paws, and I came up with terrible names, and my 7-year-old comes up with a fantastic name. And so I was just like, that's the one we're going to use. Let's do that. And that's kind of how it did. He truly did have the core entrepreneurship in his blood. Like, he really was thinking about it. So he had it organized in a little calendar. He had the communication skills with these clients. And so that is really my big why. Those things were taken away from him to experience, and this was never forced on him. He truly wanted to do it on his own. And so to have those kind of core things taught, you can't get that anywhere. It's kind of like ingrained in you. So that is my huge why of just keeping it continued for him.
Nice. So let's talk about the process of bringing on employees. So it started off as your son and your husband, right?
My husband was working on the back end. So really all on the back end.
So customer facing was you and your son.
Correct.
He did all the business stuff, like administrative tasks. Okay.
Yes, administrative, get the CRM ready, get our routes are taken care of. So we were all going in the same direction.
Gotcha.
He was a huge heartbeat of making it actually run.
So let's talk about the process of bringing on your first employees. So that had to be a big success for you guys to go, all right, there's so much demand, we need somebody.
Yes. It was scary because I was the only one on these yards. So when I first hired someone, bless her heart, she was just so amazing. She stuck with me for 2 weeks straight because we have weekly option, we have a bi-weekly option. So I literally made her go to every single yard with me, and this was 6 years ago again. So we would go out for 10 hours every day for 2 weeks, and I was showing her just like the yards and every single yard. And she stuck with me for almost a year. The reason she had stopped working with us is because she had gotten offered a stay-at-home job around COVID time. So clearly, I mean, I can't beat that. But she stayed with me for almost a year, and she really did help build my confidence and help me shape the company and help hire. And she taught me a lot of things as well. But she was my first one, and I adore her. And we still stay in touch, and she still follows along with our journey. And it's incredible how you meet people and they give you so much confidence, or they help you grow in these areas that you didn't know you had to grow in, or you didn't know what you were going to make out of this little idea, and it just can blossom. So she's an angel sent from heaven because I was just blown away by all of her help. But yeah, it was scary because I'm the only one. So we didn't have processes in place. We didn't have a standard operating procedure. It was all in my brain. So I literally thought I had to show her every single yard. And obviously, after that, I didn't have to do that. And as you grow, you can't be doing that to everybody. So you have your standard operating procedures. We have videos that we have filmed for our technicians that are internally that they have to watch. They have a manual. They have all their things now in place to make their experience a lot easier so they are successful doing their job.
So it's not just the removing the pet waste, it's providing the Speedy Scoop experience that every other customer is going to receive.
Correct. Yeah. From starting onboarding your job to getting through our CRM to looking at your client's list of where they have to go next to opening and closing up the job to taking a picture of the gate to making sure they know we're on the way. So they're getting a text message. So all those little minute details are so important because that's what the experience that customers are going to have. And it's not just we're going to show up whenever. Your Mrs. Jones is going to be every Monday, and it's a predictable, consistent, thorough service that they can count on.
So similar to doctor's appointment time and not cable company windows.
Yes, exactly.
So let's pause right here and tell everybody how can they get a hold of you if anything you said sounds interesting so far.
Yes, so we are on a lot of major social media platforms. So on Instagram, we're Speedy Scoop Indie. On Facebook, you could look us up for Speedy Scoop. Our email is info@speedyscoop.com. And our phone number is 317-721-2110 to get in touch with us. We don't have a call center. You can talk to me or my husband right away. It's not automated. You're going to get a live agent.
Nice. So, all right, a customer calls, they sign up for Speedy Scoop. What's that process look like of the first visit? They say, okay, Cathi, Tuesday sounds good. You give them the time, and what are they going to experience when you roll up?
Sure. So when they come on board, we say, so now it's been 6 years, so we have certain days that we go in different neighborhoods for route density. So whatever your address is or your zip code, it will put you on a certain day. So we would let them know, hey, we can come there, twice a week, once a week, every other week on these days, what is best for you. A lot of the times we're playing, dance with the landscapers, and so we have to come the day before, the day after them. So they'll let us know what they prefer. Once they sign up, they get an email sent to them saying, welcome to the family. We're so glad that you chose Speedy Scoop. You're going to get a text message when we're on the way. You're going to get a closed gate photo when we're done. If they have a gate, if they don't, they're just going to get the text message that the job has been completed. If they want to come out and chat, if the dogs come out, we're always happy to see them. And so we will, have those relationships and those interactions as well. But our branded wrapped vehicle will come up to their house. The technicians will start their job. They go into the backyard, clean it, and then after they are finished, they're going to get a job completed text, and then we are done.
Nice.
We haul away the waste away, so nothing is left in your garbage to stink or smell or anything like that.
Nice. But you did mention something that never would have occurred to me before, but landscapers, so people who are coming to professionally maintain the grass and all of the other vegetation, they probably appreciate not getting their equipment or stepping in pet waste when they're trying to work on someone's yard. So have you built a good referral relationship with some of those companies?
Oh yeah, we have. So a lot of those I've gotten from the clients themselves. They'll say, such and such XYZ company is coming. Can you make it, around, before or after they come? And so I'll reach out to them and I'll say, hey, we could work together. And that has worked sometimes. The tricky part is with the weather. So if we are working through all of the weather, they stop at the weather. So it's kind of like a dance, sometimes every spring and summer, but it works out really well. We have a really wonderful relationship with a lot of landscapers, a lot of groomers, pet waste, not pet waste, groomers, veterinarians, and
the other
groom. Yeah. So just different other pet related businesses also for referrals.
Nice. So any organization or company that serves people with pets who go outside,
correct,
is someone you want to talk to and you want to make connections with,
or just anybody who does work with animals. Like I said, like vets, groomers. There's very many vans that will take your dog to these beautiful places to run around, or they exercise. So any type of business pet related, we have really good relationships with those people.
Nice. So then fast forward to today. So business is 6 years old now, right? So how many crews are you up to?
So we have 4 full-time technicians. We have just got our 5th truck. We're going to be expanding all on the east side as well. So we're covering all of central Indiana in 2 months.
Nice.
So we're going to be hiring 2 more technicians. Thank you. We're super excited. So I'm going to be expanding that. So October 1st will be the entire central Indiana area.
Nice. So by the end of 2026, you're serving all of central Indiana. What are some of the future goals that you have set out?
So our busy season, funny enough, is actually November through the end of April.
Interesting.
So it is the very cold months, the months people don't want to go out and take care of it, but you need to because you don't want to have a spring mountain of garbage in your backyard. So to keep up with it and the maintenance and the dogs not, dragging it in. So our busiest season is in the colder months.
Interesting.
So
I'd have never thought of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have either. So people will slow down in the summertime because their kids are home or they're going on vacation or they're boarding their dogs a lot. So a lot of them have paused service maybe 1 or 2 months and they'll come back for the fall time when their routine is kind of heading back, which is great. We kind of get to relax and take a deep breath after a long, winter and fall rush, but it's very a consistent,
you have a consistent flow of clients.
It's a consistent flow of clients, but it's you could predict that wave, the highs and the lows of the client onboarding.
Nice. So going into summer, business is going to lower down a little bit for a while. And then as we get into the fall, you're anticipating customers coming back and more customers finding you for the first time.
Correct. So basically, yes, Q3, Q4 Q4, Q1 is our busiest season. So that's where we onboard a lot of our clients, and they do end up staying with us for a very long time. I've had clients that stay with us from the very beginning, 6 years.
Nice.
And so we've built those relationships with them and seen kids grow up. It's been really phenomenal. But so the people that we do onboard in the colder months tend to stay with us longer, but we do know, like, they'll say, hey, I'm not going to be here for a month, pause our service, we'll get you back on the next month. And that's completely fine. So we know we'll lose people for a short amount of time, but that's why we have to ramp up so much by that time. So our goal by the end of April 2027 is to finally get to our 1,000 client goal, and we're pretty close. So I'm excited.
So let's take this opportunity to stop right here and tell people again, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so to get a hold of us, you can call us at 317-721-2110. And like I said, my husband or I will be answering the phone. There's no call center. We're 24/7, 365. We've talked to clients at 10 p.m. on a Sunday. We have no barriers there. You could go to speedyscoop.com as well, and that gives you all of our information, and also Speedy Scoop Indy on Instagram.
Nice. So in the course of your work, have you met a pet that just stands out as your favorite, like you always look forward to seeing them?
Yeah, so I'm not in the field as much anymore, but when I do go into the field, if my technician has like a vacation or if they're sick, and I'll jump in. There are a couple houses that I love. I love when the little puppies come out, and they're just so cute. It's fun to kind of take that break and throw the ball, rub their bellies and just play with them. So I might be in the yard for a little bit longer than normal. Just to play.
That's fair. So service has been extended a few minutes so you can administer belly rubs.
That's the most important. And I tell that to my technicians too. If they see the dogs coming out, like, feel free to play and enjoy that time. So it's fun.
Well, it probably also builds an even deeper connection with your clients, because they're like, oh, this person's great with my dog as well. Mm-hmm. So, you're not just there to perform the service, take the waste and leave. It's you're curious to meet and interact with the pet.
Yeah. Oh, and my technicians have their favorites, and they, the familiarity, and like the owners coming out and they'll chat for a few minutes and catch up on their life. Or one of the clients has a bakery, so she's telling my technician how she started this bakery. So she gives them cookies like every week that they go. So it's very cool to build those relationships. And my technicians are like, is this okay? Should I take anything you're given? Like, it's all yours. You deserve it. So we have fun with it in the field too.
So do you encourage your techs to carry like pockets full of dog treats? Or
we don't. The only reason we don't do treats is because we never know what dog has an allergy, and so we don't want to ever put any pup in like a stomach ache, or they have to go to a vet, or cause any more issues. I wish we could. I love the idea of it, but just for safety reasons and allergies, I never know what a dog is going to have.
It sounds like an opportunity to add something to your onboarding is, does your pet have any allergies or food restrictions? And then maybe an opportunity to build a relationship with a local pet treat producer.
Absolutely.
And, so it's all about making sure the family feels like you're taking good care of them.
Yes. I love that idea.
So, we talked about what the future looks like. Now let's talk about what kind of advice would you ask for somebody, or what kind of advice would you offer to somebody who is considering starting a business but hasn't taken the first step yet? Not necessarily the same type of business, but any business in general they're thinking about. What advice do you have for them?
So my advice, honestly, is just you have to start. The hardest part is starting, and you will never have everything ready to go perfectly at the beginning. You kind of will evolve and learn on the way. We've changed our logo 3 times in 6 years, and the people who you work with, and they know your story, they're rooting for you, and so they want to see that progression. They want to see that you're making that effort. And to the moon for everyone's experience building a business. There's just so much opportunity out there, and the news and social media could scare people in thinking like there's such a not a less mindset, like a grand mindset is not the norm that you usually hear. It's like a scarcity mindset, and people will scare you and saying, oh, you need all this money to start. And you don't have to. You have to start, with your small group of friends and family, and then you kind of work your way out. And if you're starting a business and you want, you don't have all the money, but you could pre-sell an item, or you could pre-sell a product or a service and get a little bit of money to start, even if it's cleaning windows, for example. Like, you could pre-sell a window cleaning, get, $100 or $200 from a couple people, go get your supplies and come back. Like, you have to stick to your word, and you just have to believe in yourself, but it's not going to happen until you start. It's scary to start, but you have the confidence to make that happen, and it's to the moon. There's no ceiling to it. And it's exciting and it's exhilarating. So it's something that if you feel like you want to be stretched, or you want a different career, you want to pivot from your 9 to 5, the world is your oyster for real. And there is no scarcity mindset. The world is full of abundance.
Nice. That's really good advice. So one more time, give people a way to get a hold of you, and we'll wrap up the show. So go ahead and tell everyone how they can contact you.
So you can call us at 317-721-2110, and you'll get myself or my husband. It's a live agent. It's never going to be a call center. You don't have to wait until, between 9 to 5. We're available 24/7, 365. We'll take phone calls at 10 p.m. on a Sunday. SpeedyScoop.com is where you'll find our website and all of our information. And you can look us up on Facebook at Speedy Scoop, and Instagram is Speedy Scoop Indy. And any kind of communication we can get through there too.
Nice. Well, Cathi, thank you so much for being today's guest and for telling your story on the podcast. And to everyone watching, for pet waste removal at your home, give Cathi at Speedy Scoop a call. And if you are thinking about starting your business but haven't taken the first step yet, now's the time to put it on your calendar. Thursday, September 24th, Forum Event Center for the Start Smart Expo. And to everyone who's watching, thank you very much. If you like what we do here, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you have a story you want to tell, leave it in the comments. We're always looking for new guests on the Bright Ideas podcast. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.